and gentlemen, this is It's All Good, Man, the Better Call Saul podcast. My name is Brian, and with me, as always, is the story of a girl who cried a river and drowned the whole world. Dave, how's it going today?
Well, dip me in salt and lick my asshole.
What?
If anybody, and here's the thing, if anybody can tell me why I said that and how it relates to what we're doing here, get a t-shirt.
Do I get a t-shirt? Because I have no clue. You kind of sprung that on me, and I had no idea it was coming. Dave and I also host the Nothing Important podcast. You can find that at www.nothingimportantpodcast.com. It's on iTunes, all that good stuff. Make sure to check that out, where Dave and I talk to people more successful and famous than we'll ever be. But today we are talking about Better Call Saul, episode 206, titled Bally High. Dave, are you ready?
Yeah, let's do this, Brian.
Let's do it. So we open up the episode. Jimmy is sleeping restlessly. Something's obviously bugging him. He wakes up, starts watching TV, presumably sometime early in the morning.
1:18 or 1:08.
1:08 in the morning.
I wrote down all the times every time it showed the clock.
Nice. Okay. Wakes up at 1:08 in the morning, and it was kind of nice to see the classic Chia Pet commercial.
Yeah, I wanted to note though that they very clearly show that the spot next to him is like it's an empty spot that used to be occupied.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's missing.
Like he's missing something.
Person. Yeah, he's missing something. But maybe a Kim.
Yeah, maybe. You know, another.
And then
one thing I found interesting was this takes place in 2002, or roughly 2002, 2003, right?
Yeah.
And he comes across a channel playing the national anthem sign off.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, that's
that
awesome.
Used to be a thing.
Yeah, when my dad was young, my dad would be like, in my day, like when we had TVs, after 10 o'clock, they played the national anthem and TV went off the air until 7 in the morning when the news started. And I'm like, I remember thinking, wow, Dad, you are fucking old. I don't remember any channel in 2002 that would do that. Like usually it's like paid programming for like fucking maybe ShamWow or whatever.
Maybe. Well, that's when it switches over to paid programming, as we saw with the commercial that came up next. But maybe this is like a throwback to a throwback.
Maybe just a nice sentimental
back
touch.
In the late 90s, early 2000s, a lot of TV shows and movies would reference that American flag national anthem thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of throwback to a throwback.
Maybe. I don't remember ever seeing that in real life, though, watching TV late. And then
I remember one time, and it's like the shitty, like the UHF stations out of Chicago would do it.
Yeah.
And then they go into the mesothelioma commercial.
Right. Okay, so this is stupid. For years, every time I hear mesothelioma, for some reason, I always think of the 2 Live Crew song, like, be so horny. And I always try to put the mesothelioma. And I don't know why I do that. They have nothing to do with each other. Just for some reason, for like 10 years, every time I hear mesothelioma, I have to be like, mesothelioma.
What's the stuff in the ceiling that causes it?
Asbestos?
Yeah, you're like, oh yeah. Oh, mesoasbestos.
So Jimmy's flipping the channel, and he comes across a fucking Davison, Maine commercial for the Sandpiper lawsuit.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, is this the mesothelioma guy? I think it's the same guy from that other commercial, but I want to know if this is the real-life mesothelioma guy. Because these are real commercials that they're mocking.
Right.
But yeah, he comes across Sandpiper. They went over his head.
Yeah, he feels kind of pissed and betrayed, and probably with that character, he's probably like, those sons of bitches took my idea.
Yeah, that's how he's going to think of it, even though he did it and pissed them off, and now they kind of did the same. He feels the same way that Davison Maine felt, like, what the hell? Cut me out, dude.
They didn't consult him.
And the client outreach is his department.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sons of bitches.
So after he feels a little dejected, this is one of my. I'm a big person of tropes. I've spoke about that before, how they bother me. But Jimmy is a single guy living by himself, heads to the refrigerator, and there's like 2 cartons of Chinese food like left over. Does anybody leave over Chinese food? Because it's like impossible to warm up and make edible again.
Oh, no,
like,
I do it all the time.
Do you really?
What I
like
do, I love to take my General Tso chicken.
Mm-hmm.
If you have never seen the documentary Searching for General Tso, check it out because it's pretty cool.
Okay.
So I always get General Tso's chicken. It's an American dish. It's my favorite. But when you nuke
all
it
Chinese
and
food
you mix
is an American dish.
No.
All the Chinese food that we have here.
There's like two. There's like two of them that are actually Chinese. It's like Mugu Gai Pan and like Kung Pao or something. Yeah, like there's a couple that are actually, but yeah, they're mostly Americanized versions.
It was right. It was the food that was developed for the Chinese railroad workers to make money while catering to the white employers while they were building the railroads across this great land of ours.
Oh, well, that's very interesting, Brian. But let's not forget that tacos were created by Mexican workers that wanted to eat on the go and couldn't like pack a lunch or have access to refrigerators.
I think what we need to take solace in, Dave, is that all of the aforementioned food is goddamn delicious.
Point that cannot be argued.
Yeah, as true now as it was when it was written, my friend.
That is correct. I say that way too much, but I like it. That is correct.
So Jimmy still can't get to sleep. He's doing all sorts of crazy trick shots with yarn balls. And what cracked me up is the one where he's laying on the couch and he's just from his back, like throwing the ball straight up in the air and then catching it.
Uh-huh.
I do that all the goddamn time just to like waste time.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Yeah.
It's like the fear. It's the fear of watching it come right back at your face and wondering if you're going to catch it.
See, for me, it's always how close can I get to the ceiling without hitting the ceiling? Because if you do hit the ceiling, the spin of the ball, it'll knock it off in some other direction. Then you got to go chase it down. Yeah.
Yeah. Tempting fate.
Yeah. But that doesn't satiate his insomnia, I guess.
No. It the clock keeps rolling. It shows the clock at 1:43. Yep. Then it shows the clock at 2:23. And the song, you know the song that's playing in the background, right?
No. What is it?
It's called Sleepwalk.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
And I love how it starts to fall apart, but you can tell that it's like a real musician making it fall apart. Like it gets shitty and the tuning gets off and it starts to just like.
Yeah. You know what? I actually just watched this again. Looking at the clock, probably less than 2 hours ago. I rewatched it again to take notes for our podcast today. And, I noticed it, but I didn't really notice it. You know what I mean? Like I was like, huh? Like what?
Because it was like it's done on purpose.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's so hard. I think you can actually relate. You'll say you can't because you're not a real musician, you always say. But it's hard to purposely do something wrong in a musical context, in my opinion.
Yeah. Dave Porter talked about that when he was on our show. So
yeah, go back and listen to my Brian wasn't there, but my interview with Dave Porter. He doesn't. Actually, he probably wrote. He might have done that.
He might have. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jimmy decides he's going to head home. He's going to head home.
That. I really did like that.
Yeah. Heads back to the nail salon, and he kind of. He goes through all the same motions, like pushing the desk across the room, sitting the chair on top of the desk so the fold-out bed could barely fit, and he kind of cuddles in and falls asleep with a smile on his face.
That's right. He's home. That's.
Which is nice to see, because you know what? The funny thing about the character, now that I think about it, you don't really see him smile all that often.
Only when he's pulling something over on somebody.
Yeah, I mean, he's actually somewhat of a miserable character. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it's a constant internal struggle of what he wants to be versus what everybody tells him he should be.
Yeah. So he falls asleep with a smile, and Jimmy's at peace, and we cut to the opening, which is...
phone booth.
Yeah, phone booth with the phone book. Did you notice anything different about that, Dave?
Actually, I should say payphone. No, I didn't go back and look.
All right, well, we've talked about that. Remember the first season, it was just kind of fun because they changed every episode. And then I think it was last week or the week before, we talked about, we keep bringing it up because we're just looking for some subtle change, right? Mm-hmm. Like just to see if something's different, right? But for the most part, it seems to, pretty much have the same pattern as the first season.
Right.
You think? No, not right.
Oh no, the one time I don't double check, I miss something.
Twitter listener Winston Brewington says, guys, I've noticed a difference in the show openers. This season, every show opener has a hint of black and white to them that wasn't present in season 1. And I was like, interesting. So, once again, as I mentioned, I watched 206 again a couple hours ago, and I rewound it after it passed by a couple times. And I'll be damned, Winston Brewington is absolutely correct. For a split second, everything turns black and white. And then it just continues normally.
So this reminds me of Boondock Saints.
Mm-hmm.
You know the movie Boondock Saints?
I do.
Where every time Agent Smecker gets his story closer to the actual events, it takes place in real time closer to in the film, right? It gets closer and closer and closer.
Yeah.
So this is moving in the timeline in Better Call Saul. The timeline is moving closer and closer to now, which is black and white. So maybe they're adding more and more black and white, and eventually it'll be all black and white because it'll be now.
Yeah, maybe.
Does
How
that make
cool,
sense
right?
Of a parallel, is that?
It does. Winston Brewington, we're going to send you a T-shirt. That's a good catch.
Yeah, it's a nice snatch, as I like to say.
Yeah,
nice
plus
snatch.
I got to get rid of these T-shirts. They're taking over my life, man.
Well, it's to this episode already.
Yep.
If somebody
right.
comes back with the thing that I mentioned earlier, yes.
Mm-hmm. Back into the episode proper. Kim's brushing her teeth.
And did you notice that the camera kind of slides over to see if anybody's standing next to her, like she's missing the thing next to her?
Yeah, you know what? Okay, yeah, not in that. Well, yeah, I guess kind of, because I was like, oh, I wonder if Jimmy's there, because that was very similar to the setup a few episodes ago.
Right.
Right.
I took it as like they were showing the full bed with Jimmy, like Kim's missing. They're showing the side of Kim, like Jimmy's missing. And that's when I kind of figured, if you know what Bali High is about, and then you see that they're setting up this whole, like, they're on their own, missing the person next to them, you can kind of see where this episode's going.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that in a second. When she was waiting for the call, I wasn't really sure, because I talked last episode where I kind of related my own experience about having somebody kind of lord over you, you know, and during that whole situation, like, I was kind of like Kim seemed to me kind of how I was during that situation for a few months. Like, I'd wake up at like 4:30 in the morning, getting ready to go to downtown Chicago, and I would literally just sit there on the side of the bed and just kind of be like, okay, Brian, you can do this. You can do this. You know what I mean? Like, kind of like kind of putting it off to the absolute last second while trying to psych yourself up. But then she kind of started spying the phone, and the call never came. And I was like, oh, okay, she's obviously waiting for a phone call. But maybe it's like a mix of the emotions, because I've totally been there where it's just like, okay, we just got to make it through the day. It'll be okay. You know, we're like 8-9 hours away. So, but then she gets the phone call, and Jimmy's sinking Bali High.
Jimmy's singing Bali High to her.
Yeah, singing, not sinking, singing. I can't speak today. Yeah, singing Bali High, which is about what, Dave?
According to Wikipedia,
the source of all knowledge in the world ever.
Right. Bali High is about an island. It's on the horizon, and it's not so distant, but it's an unattainable place of innocence.
Right.
So it's something you think is within reach, but not quite.
Yeah. I get it. Deep, man.
Listeners, draw your own conclusions off of that.
Yeah. It's from South Pacific, man.
Yep. From South Pacific. It's been covered by a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the latest one would be Jimmy McGill.
Jimmy McGill? Yep.
Via phone message.
Right. I didn't he say, and then that completes the catalog for South Pacific, and he's going to move on to the Carpenter Sisters.
It's our week-long tour of South Pacific, and now we're going to explore the Carpenters catalog.
Yep.
And it's clever because he's like, I'm open to requests, so call me.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I like that. That's cute.
And there's something about, I wanted to say something about Kim, in that the way she's looking at the phone.
Okay, so then say it.
Yeah, I'm leading up to it.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't know if that was off the record or on the record.
No, this is on the record.
Okay, gotcha.
A couple of years ago, I was trying to chase down this girl, right? And it wasn't working out.
Is this a real life anecdote?
This is a real life story that made me, it came into my mind.
We're getting awful personal on the second season of It's All Good, Man.
Well, people say they like us. It's not about. the show.
Yeah.
They like us.
It's our emotional connection to the people that listen.
Yeah, exactly. And I just like telling stories about my personal life because who cares?
Yeah. All right, carry on.
So I was like, whatever, chasing this girl. I was in the friend zone, whatever. And I made this a conscious decision. I was going to make sure that she woke up to a text from me every day for a while.
Okay.
Right? So I did it for 2 weeks to the day, every day. Hey, good morning, whatever, something really nice and sweet, whatever. The day I stopped doing it, got a text from her at 11 o'clock in the morning saying, hey, hoping to have a good day.
Really?
It was an experiment that I ran on myself, but that's literally what happened. The day I stopped doing it, she hit me up. And that's when it hit me. I was like, this is like Jimmy has conditioned Kim to expect this phone call every morning. That's why she's checking her watch. She's like, should I go? Should I wait for it?
Right.
And she does waiting for it, and you see in her face, she really, really appreciates it, but she can't quite get herself to call him back.
Yeah.
So, guys, that shit totally works.
Right.
Just saying.
Well, that's true. You know, we're all creatures of habit. Every day when I leave work, I text my wife one thing, one simple word, and it's just vroom. VROOM with a period. You know, I'm vrooming home, like vroom.
Right.
Right. If I ever forget, I can always tell at about 10 minutes into my drive, she'll call me and be like, hey, where are you at? And every time it's the same, Mannheim Road. Yeah.
Same exact thing. Yeah. You get conditions. It's so weird how you can condition yourself to an interaction. That's a regular interaction.
Yeah.
Like if we're uploading our episode kind of late and people start tweeting us, where the hell's the episode at?
So Jimmy's getting ready for work and he's interrupted by Mrs. Nguyen, which I finally put something together. Anybody that's worked as a telemarketer will know that eventually you'll run into about like 50 names a day that are like Nguyen or something like that. It's
Nguyen.
like Mrs. Nguyen, like
Nguyen.
Nguyen. Yeah, Nguyen. All
The
right.
G is silent.
Yeah. So she wants to know why Jimmy is there. Because obviously he has the corporate apartment. My thing about that is though, I never thought about it. Where does Jimmy shower when he stays there?
Cucumber water.
Okay, fair enough.
I never thought of. Well, he's right next to the hot water heater.
Yeah, that's true.
I never thought about that. I never did.
So he asked her for coffee. She says you can afford your own. And he kind of uses it like, hey, sooner I get coffee, sooner I get out of here. She walks off mumbling something in Korean. If anybody out there speaks Korean, I'd sure love to know what she said.
Well, I like how I do like how he said, she asked him if he lost his job. He's like, I should be so lucky.
Right. Yeah.
You
miserable
asshole. Just take, and I felt the same way. Just take your free shit and shut up.
Right.
Not my fault. You got to go to your rat hole old fucking office to get some sleep.
Right. Yeah. Well, he is paid up. Remember, he says that he is paid up. So
within his legal rights, because he knows the law.
Yep. Boundaries, Mrs. Nguyen. Boundaries.
Boundaries. That's right.
And once again, his cup won't fit in the cup holder.
Yeah, and I wrote down, wouldn't he fucking realize this by now? How long has he had the car? He's had at least a week, right? I mean, we're not really sure of timelines.
Right.
But it's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
Not knowing this is going to come into play later, but yes.
Yep. We see Kim. She's putting her placard back on her office door. It appears she's out of the cornfields.
That's right. She's got her own office back, and she's
which is interesting. That's interesting to me because not only did she just get stuck in document review, he took her whole office away. Like I thought it was just a punishment where that was just her station at work for a while. I didn't think they'd take her whole office away, but apparently they evicted her.
Because remember, Jimmy showed up and went straight to her office. And it was completely empty.
Oh, yeah. Good
That's
point.
how he knew to go down to the cornfields.
I didn't put two and two together. Very nice. Very nice.
I did not pay close attention to see if this was the same office or not, or if she's being, you're back up top, but you get a shittier office,
Right. I'm sure somebody will let us know. We'll hear all about it eventually.
I think it might have been mentioned. I wrote down in my notes she got her old office back.
Yep. So Howard comes to the door and he says, you haven't unpacked yet? And I thought they made amends, man. The way that he said it, I thought they made amends. I was like, okay, so we're back on good graces. We're going to find out how that happened.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
No, not at all.
Well, keep going because I had kind of a mixed thing about what happens next.
Okay, well, they're walking down the hall and he's not saying a word and making it very uncomfortable. He's not even looking at her. And she even says, look, I did not ask Chuck to step in on my behalf. So like she's like fishing for ideas too, trying to figure out why he's being so despondent towards her. You know what I mean? Like she's like, well, like, I didn't tell Chuck to say anything to you, trying to figure out what exactly is going on. But it doesn't sway him till the very end when they're about to turn the corner and he puts his game face on and he smiles, enters the door and he meets Paige and Kevin for their meeting. But he's obviously pissed.
What I got from it is I wrote down he stays stoic and ignoring her with a "this is not the time" vibe.
Really?
That's kind of what I took. Maybe like when she says it. He's just kind of like, this isn't the time for that, dude. Like, no, we're on the way. I'm focused. He's got his game face on. He literally turns on the charm as he crosses the threshold. The smile comes in 2 steps before the door.
Right.
That's what I kind of thought. Maybe like this is just like kind of like this isn't the time for that, Kim. Like,
yeah, gotcha. Okay,
bigger fish to fry. But maybe he just wants to ignore it completely because he's still pissed.
Yeah. Yep.
She sucks in her breath as she closes the door.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of a cool little thing, too.
Well, going back to that frustration that I was talking about at the beginning, like, okay, we can get through this, Yeah. And then, like, the workday, she has a big meeting, maybe she's just like, okay, I can do it, like, reassuring herself, like, okay,
that's what it was. It was her putting her game face on, too, because, Hamlin's already got his on.
Right, absolutely. Mike comes home, and he has a visitor waiting, and for some reason, I love the little detail of the tire screeching across the curb. Like as he pulls in, it just barely taps the curb, and it's like,
I didn't even notice that. And I always listen with headphones on. I always have my headphones on when I watch the show.
Yeah, cracks me up.
Oh, man.
He has a Salamanca goon there, says he needs an answer. Mike tells him respectfully no. And then we see Mike, he's already like 10 step ahead.
Right. Well, did you notice the Salamanca guy had a red bandana?
No, I did not notice.
Do you know about the red thing?
No, I do not.
It's like the one thing that I've ever taken away from insider stuff is that the color red means something's about to happen with that character.
Oh, nice. Like,
yeah. So and it's they said sometimes it's very subtle. Mm-hmm. This was not so subtle. This was that red bandana, and the camera zoomed in on it. Like it's basically saying this dude's important.
Gotcha.
So future reference people, watch for the color red. That's very important in this show.
No, that's a good visual clue. I do like how Mike was very nonchalant. He's like, "Hello, can I help you?"
Yeah. Well, he knew. He knew.
Yeah, he knew. He was way ahead of the game though, because it shows what he went shopping for, and most of his groceries were carbon paper and a welcome mat,
and copier paper. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, isn't that what I said? Carbon paper.
You said carbon paper. There's carbon paper, copier paper, and a welcome mat.
Oh, well, I don't. Oh, okay. So I get it now. Okay, so the carbon paper is to transfer the footprint to the copy paper when somebody steps on the welcome mat. Okay.
Which I picked up right away. I always
thought the carbon paper, like, because when I think carbon paper, it's like kind of like a waitress receipt where it's like the 3 layers and you write on the top and then you fold it up in the carbon. Right. Yeah. Like, so, okay. I thought the carbon paper already had that on it.
No, the carbon paper is that black paper.
Right. Yeah.
And then it prints to a piece of paper. It does nothing on its own.
Gotcha.
It has to transfer the carbon to something.
Right.
So, yeah, as soon as you did this carbon paper and the welcome mat, because I was like, welcome mat, and then carbon paper, and I was like, carbon paper, and then the regular paper, I was like, this sneaky motherfucker. Like, wow, that's clever.
Did you know what was going on before it showed how it ends up later in the episode?
I knew that's why he was doing it. I knew it was for footprints.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, gotcha. I figured. I just kind of, I was thinking ahead.
Oh, nice. We see Kim
to toot my own horn here.
We see Kim sparring with Mr. Schweigert. Well, no, one of the lawyers from Schweigert and.
Yeah, Richard Schweigert is there.
Right.
But he's not the one speaking.
Right. Yeah.
Which says a lot. That says so much about what happens next, I think.
Mm-hmm. I like. So she's sparring with the opposing lawyer about the medical records of the residents, saying that they, Schweigert and Co. or whatever the hell the name of their thing is.
Schweigert and Coakley.
Schweigert and Coakley are, they're trying to have it both ways. They're trying to say that the residents were competent enough to sign the contracts. However, now they are too incompetent due to age. And
it's a good point.
Yeah, excellent point. That is an
both
excellent.
sides have valid points though, because old people do degrade fast.
Yeah, that's true. Kim tries to paint it as bullying and trying to intimidate the folks of Sandpiper. And, she's pretty sure that she lost. And Schweigert, when they meet outside in the hall, even says that it was a unwinnable position, but you went down swinging. So you got to kind of admire that.
Yeah, and your boss didn't even show up.
Yeah. Right. They go to lunch, have a Moscow Mule, which now I've never heard of before, but now I'm damn determined to have a Moscow Mule.
I've heard of, never tried.
Yeah, I didn't know it came in like a copper mug or anything.
No. These are fancy lawyer-in places.
Right. Kim and Schweigert meet, and Kim, we find out a little bit about her. She started in the mailroom. She's been with HHM for 10 years, and they're, paying her dues. And part of her agreement was she'd work for them. They'd help her pay half through college, and they're helping her pay off her student loans. And that's when Schweigert talks about his, what he believes to be a defining moment in his career where he had a big case and he was all ready to rock, and his boss didn't show up, but the opposing counsels, like the partners and first chair, all showed up, and it was just basically him versus them.
Same thing as that's why I wanted to note that Schweikert was on the opposite of Kim, because she's going against a partner.
Yeah.
It's a complete parallel.
Yep. And it never sat well with Schweikert. And apparently he's been watching Kim since the Kettleman trial.
I don't have a comment on that. Keep going.
I'm just saying it's interesting because it's the Kettlemans. We were kind of hoping they'd come back. We love Julianne Emery. And
yeah, any mention of the Kettlemans makes me happy because we want them on the show again so bad.
God, I hope they get at least a cameo.
Something.
You know what though? Like at this point, I don't know if that's too much, really, because this season now, we'll find out why later. There's a lot of cameos this season, and it all makes sense. But I just don't want it to get too top heavy.
I was just gonna actually ask you about that. If they're getting a little heavy with the cameos.
Okay, so I think in this context it works because they are part of the organization that Ignacio is a part of, right? But if it was something lame, like they were driving down the street and they got frustrated at the stoplight because fucking Walt Jr. was taking too long to go across the crosswalk, and it was just like, oh, there's Walt, for the sake of having him there. Then that'd be kind of bullshit.
Wait a minute. Didn't you at one time say it would be cool if Walter White was just like washing Jimmy's car at the car wash and passing?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Indeed. But now
we'll just leave that out there.
Right. But that was before. Yeah. That was before I saw all the cameos of this season. All the callbacks of the season.
So now you're at a point where they're doing a very good job of it so far. That's what I want to know.
Before when I made that comment about
sense. So anything like that now would feel like a shoehorn, since it's all been so authentic up to this point.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
Because 5 episodes ago that would have been a cute Easter egg. Here,
right.
Almost towards the end of season 2. With so many people that have come into play, it's like, oh, why the fuck did you even have to include that?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's. I mean, we'll get to it, but it's been solid. Like, I like the way they've done it. I think it all fits. It's subtle. Mm-hmm. Everybody still, except for, Crazy 8 wasn't really the same character, but that was kind of cool,
Right. Well, it was like pre-evolution.
Right.
Crazy
Yeah.
8.
Exactly. So they Schweikert, when he says it wasn't about proving his mettle, it was about how his boss had a tea time he didn't want to miss, so he realized how insignificant he was. Mm-hmm. And then he says, he wonders why. Oh, he wonders why Kim's still there, because he wants her in a partner track. And I started thinking, maybe I'm getting crazy here. It's not about Schweikert and Coakley gaining Kim. It's about HHM losing Kim, and then thereby maybe getting Jimmy off the case. Because this is a huge case. It's millions and millions of dollars and blah, 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 blah. So it's kind of like if you take another team's quarterback, but it's not necessarily about you getting their quarterback, it's that team doesn't have it anymore.
It's about ruining the dynamic.
Yeah.
So to speak. Like, I get what you're saying. So, you take away an important piece and the whole thing will crumble.
Right.
Yeah.
Adding that piece to your team isn't as big as destroying the other team.
Right. So you don't think the recruitment is genuine? You think it's more of a strategic play?
Column A, column B.
Okay.
I think. But it something about it.
It's nothing but win-win for Schweikert.
Exactly.
Because he would get a pretty formidable lawyer, and then at the same time he might dissolve the case for the other side.
Right, and it might knock Jimmy out of the case too, because Kim's gone.
Right.
He hates Hamlin.
Yeah.
He hates Chuck.
Right.
He's gonna start hating Davis and Maine.
Yeah, but
he's just hating everybody.
Do you think Schweikert knows that though? I mean, I guess it might be like a closed community, and that might just be like a welcome byproduct.
See, that's a very good counterpoint, because I don't know if Schweikert does realize how close they are. Maybe it is. Maybe if my theory is on track, it's just about Kim then, because I mean, she saw she's tenacious, and he has had his eye on her.
But who knows? Because he knew that she was in the fucking mailroom for 6 years, right?
Well, it shows her. Yeah.
So maybe he does know some inside baseball. So that's good. That's something we're going to have to watch as the last 4 episodes unfold.
Yeah. Oh shit!
That's deep, man. That's deep.
Well, thank
Listeners.
you. Well, it's also good on you for the counterpoint about maybe he doesn't know how close Jimmy is, whatever.
Listeners, let us know what you think. We're at Mike's house. He pulls up. It's dark, presumably coming home from his shack, and checks out the welcome mat, sees the footprints on the carbon paper. Checks,
2 sets.
Yep. Checks.
I couldn't tell. I honestly couldn't tell if it was 1 set coming and going, or if it was 2 sets going in.
I think it was 2 sets going in, like side by side. Like so, pretty much he had the whole underneath of the welcome mat covered. So it was just a few pieces of paper, and as they, came in. Yeah.
Well, that's a big deal. Later.
Yeah. Draws his gun, ready for battle. Starts clearing the house, except for the last room. Always the last room you look, Dave. It's just like when you lose your keys.
When you find it, you stop looking.
Indeed. He draws the thugs out with the TV noise, which
Genius.
is it's a classic Mike move, because remember in Breaking Bad he threw the shoe down the hallway, and the guy ran out shooting, and he shot him in the back of the head. Totally.
Good call. Yeah, totally. I remember that.
Yeah. nice deceptive move by Mike. And guys come sneaking out. Mike's behind the door and beats their ass with his gun.
which is why I had to note: was it 1 set of prints in and out, or was it 2 sets of prints going in? Because he knew. Because I was like, okay, he's gonna shoot the first guy, and the second guy is gonna do something. But no, he totally knew there was 2 guys, so he
saw the 2 footprints. Yeah.
He mic'd it up.
Yeah, and note on the commercial, it was Billy Mays slap chop.
Because he was slapping those guys around.
And not only that, maybe the scene happens roughly at the same time that Jimmy is watching Chia Pet infomercials on TV as well.
Oh.
Yeah, look at there. Maybe we have like a simultaneous timeline going on.
This is interesting. I never think about simultaneous timelines until they're brought to my attention.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wait, but Billy Mays didn't do the slap chop.
Billy Mays here. Yes, he did.
No, it was a skinny guy. You're going to love my nuts.
No, that's... okay, well...
Yeah, the ShamWow guy did the slap chop.
Okay, well, whatever Billy Mays' version of the slap chop was, that's what he was doing.
Okay.
Because he was talking about dicing... He was talking about dicing onions.
Maybe it was Crazy Putty or... OxyClean.
Yeah. Billy Mays here. So anyway, he whips their ass, takes their guns. What's the message? And they say he was just supposed to scare him and that he needs to take the $5,000. But okay, so what I like how they did this scene is in situations like this in most movies, there's always like a big speech between the two. Like a big like they go into it in depth. I always feel like there's a big dialogue in situations like this in most movies. And in this one, he's just like, what's the message? And they're just like, you should have taken the $5,000. like there wasn't like a big exposition on it.
Right.
Yeah. And he's just
brevity,
like,
brevity, man, brevity.
Yeah. They're like, well, for the record, we're here just to scare you. And he's like, I'll try harder next time, and kicks them out of their house.
Yeah. Try harder. Try harder, pussies.
So blood, and pieces of skin, presumably, are all over the gun. He's cleaning it off. And then when Mike's done, his hand starts shaking very violently.
Yeah, he's like the Waco kid in Blazing Saddles, man.
Explain.
Well, steady as a rock, but I shoot with this hand.
No, I don't know this.
You don't know Blazing Saddles when he's talking about being the Waco Kid, and he's like, the fastest gun in the West, and he holds up the right hand, and he's like, oh, steady as a rock, and he goes, yeah, but I shoot with this hand. His left hand's shaking.
I gotcha. Do you think that was a reference to that? Like, what a weird reference, but like,
it would be because it's so different that it would have to be somebody stupid like me looking too deep to get it. But,
I mean, we've never seen that mannerism in Mike before, have we?
No. I looked at it as like he's starting to crack. Like his nerves are just getting to him.
Just too much.
Stacy's going crazy. Tio's going crazy. Tuco is crazy. He's just surrounded by crazy people. And
like the blood. Well, maybe you know what? Then that might like his blood pressure is just kind of starting to get out of control. And that's a good point because he grabs his other hand and he gives it like a look. And, like a situation where he's like, calm down, Mike. Like,
right.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay, nice.
Because, I mean, he flat out said, try harder. Well, they're probably going to try harder.
Yeah, game on.
Yeah.
Game on. We see Kim staring at the banker's box in her office. She just wants to pack it all up and quit, man. It's at least going through her head.
Yeah, she's having some thoughts. She's the wheels are turning. She's weighing her options.
Yeah, sure. She's getting ready to go to lunch, and one of Howard's lackeys come in and tell her basically that she has to work over lunch and do menial work for him. But hey, we'll order you a salad.
Yeah. So he can draft a letter.
Yeah.
I made a note of that. Like he's got something more important to do.
Right. Yeah. And she just kind of leaves anyway.
Yeah. She just
I'm out of here. Taking a stand, man. Not quitting, by the way. Let me emphasize, she didn't quit for lunch and then come back. She is not quitting.
Damn it. I'm going to throw that out there, fucker.
Yeah. I saw it coming. I saw it in your face. So she did not quit. She just kind of left and went for lunch.
She did go have a drink, though.
Yeah. Yep. We'll see that in a bit. We cut to a hotel pool. Pretty swanky hotel from the looks of it. I believe that's a motel. You can drive up to the doors of motels, Dave.
Oh, is that the difference?
Mm-hmm. It's a motel. Yeah. It has exterior corridors, and oftentimes you can drive up to the door of your hotel room. Thus, a motor hotel, a motel.
I thought it was just a hotel on the road, like on a highway.
That you drive up to.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a motel. Motor hotel. Motel.
Cool. Motorboat son of a bitch. Go
ahead. Mike and Kaylee are at the swimming pool, and we glance up and we see the twins from Breaking Bad, the assassin twins, standing on an adjacent building. And he kind of does the whole gun gesture with his fingers.
Yep.
Points to Mike and then to the kid. And message delivered. Which
goes back to how we like the way they're including previous characters. It's subtle.
Yeah.
It's not ham-fisted. Ham-fisted?
Yeah, ham-fisted.
It's not ham-fisted. Right. He looks up and like, oh, there's the twins. Look at that shit.
Right. So it works within the context of the story that they're telling.
Yep, absolutely.
Right. Okay. So, Mike, for the first time, we kind of see him visibly shook, but then that quickly turns to quiet. I took it as quiet anger.
No, because he grabbed.
But as he was like
before he gathers Kaylee up.
Yeah. Like he was like really shook, and then he was kind of hugging her, and then that
was fear. I saw fear.
Like before he grabbed her?
No, as he grabbed her, the way
like
he's
as
hugging
he grabbed her, like just before it cuts out, like for some reason something about his face said to me where like he was like, I'm gonna have to kill these motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Like,
I thought it was what the fuck am I gonna do?
Yeah. Well, I mean it could go either way.
Because I saw it as the first, like this is where Mike is showing some cracks in the armor.
Mm-hmm.
The stoic facade is starting to crumble a little bit, and that's why I was kind of like, he's actually legitimately scared.
Yeah.
But he's not scared for himself.
Right, yeah.
Which he even said. Like, he's not scared for himself, he's scared for Kaylee and Stacy.
Yeah, absolutely. Then we see Kim. She went to the bar, and she herself is having a Moscow Mule.
Yep, she's trying to, gain a little perspective from Schweikert's side of things, apparently.
Absolutely. She sees Dale. Dale, which is always a funny name to me. Sorry if your name is Dale, but Dale kind of cracks me up. So it sees Dale kissing a very attractive woman, seeing her off from their lunch meeting. He sends her a drink.
In her Porsche? Wait, the hot chick's driving a Porsche. This dude's got it all.
Was that a Porsche?
Yeah.
I don't know cars.
It was a Porsche.
What I know about cars is they have 4 wheels, and I can take them to some guy and pay $30 to have my oil changed, and that's what I know about cars.
You can go to a back alley and pay some guy $5 to have your oil changed. No, I was gonna say, hold on. I'm gonna scratch port. Sports car. It was a sports car. Because if I say the wrong fucking sports car, someone will call me out on it.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So he sends Kim a drink. She accepts and introduces herself as Giselle.
Where have I heard that name before?
Meeting Ken Wins.
That's right.
I like how everybody's just kind of taken to the fact that Ken's last name is Wins, and everybody refers to him as Ken Wins, when that character doesn't have a last name. It's just Ken.
It could be Ken Winningham or something. They just shorten it.
Ken Winningston?
Ken Winsington.
Ken Winsington.
But because at first I didn't know where she was going because this guy's hitting on her, and her and Jimmy are like strained or whatever. And then when she slams the drink, she's like, "Boom, okay, I'll take another drink." And I was like, "Is she gonna like get with this dude? Like she knows he's a player. She knows he's after one thing,
entertain other options,
But no, she knows he's a
or maybe
sucker.
like a revenge hookup or something like that. Yeah.
Right. But nope, she knows he's a sucker.
Yep. So we see Jimmy working and Aaron lording over him, taking notes, kind of pressing him. And again, I've been there, man, and it fucking sucks. And he's like, a watch pot doesn't boil. Have you ever heard that? Like, oh, that sucks so bad because I've been there. I know that feeling. That sucks so bad.
So I noticed that they said the August 1st, 1999, like 4 times.
They're verifying dates.
Yeah, well, if anybody wants to tell us what's important about that date, feel free to hit us up on the Twitter with something about that. August 1st, 1999.
So she's lording over him. Phone rings. Jimmy answers. It's Kim. He says he's got to go talk to his grandma. I don't remember what the excuse was. Was it she's old or something like that?
I don't. Actually, I didn't write that down. Yeah, I know.
I think it was just something really simple like, oh, it's my grandma. She's old. And he just kind of leaves. Kim says we got a live one on the hook. Jimmy says he's on his way,
and she's clearly buzzed.
Yeah, and then it cuts to the bar, and we find out what the scam was. He meets. I don't know. I still don't know if they chatted in the brief time about what the scam was, or if he just got there and she just kind of was like, all right, he's just going to go with it and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out exactly where Jimmy was coming from. Like when he arrives, like, is he in on it? Does he know? Because it almost seemed like he wasn't playing along. Like,
right, yeah.
Like, this is like a role reversal thing where Kim's all into it. She wants to scam this dude, and Jimmy's kind of like, I just want to hang out with Kim.
Yeah, she goes to the washroom, and he asked Dale what exactly he knows about it, and he said that it's basically like some .com thing where people can meet up, basically like a social media type thing.
Yeah, like a Twitter, or not Twitter, like a
like
Tinder,
Facebook or MySpace or something.
I was thinking more like a Tinder or a Bumble.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, same thing. Yeah. Apps before apps were apps.
A chat roulette.
If you will.
Maybe he just gave the guy the idea for Tinder.
It's going down. I'm yelling Tinder.
Timber.
So lame. Okay. So Jimmy says, if they take on one more investor, they're going to have to go public. And man,
does he know how to play people?
See, but I was kind of agreeing with you though. Like, I thought that some reason Jimmy was having a change of heart and felt differently about Kim initiating like the whole scam. And maybe he was having like a change of heart because the way it cut off, it was like he was like that was his way of trying to back out, like trying to pull it back.
Yeah, it seemed like it. Maybe like when you realize that you've kind of corrupted somebody, and you're like, okay, this is too much. Let's back it off. This is my thing. I don't want you. I'm Vader. You're Luke. Don't come to the dark side.
Please don't. Yeah. Mike pulls up to a restaurant, which, by the way, awesome mural on that restaurant.
I didn't even notice it. I was looking at Nacho.
It was like big bright paintings of like lollipops and snack foods and stuff. It was
like
totally
sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows.
Indeed.
Which Michael McKean sang in Spinal Tap.
Look at that. Bro,
I'm fucking Stretch Armstrong today.
you are, dude. So Mike pulls up to the restaurant. He does the sit down with Tio Salamanca.
Well, you notice that Nacho never checked, like, didn't care about the gun.
Maybe he knew that Hector wouldn't care because he does say he checks him for wires. Got no wires, but he's got a gun. And Hector's like, I don't care about the gun.
Yeah, it's one thing that they addressed it, but I noticed it as they were doing it. Like, oh, he's patting him down, just skipping the gun. So obviously not a concern.
Yep. So basically, the whole deal is Hector again. He reiterates he wants Mike to claim that the gun was his
tomorrow.
Mike, yeah,
like he's
the next day.
Now it's go time.
Yep. Mike says he wants to be paid. He wants to talk payment, but the $5,000 is off the table, and then Mike ups the ante substantially and says he wants $50K for it.
Yeah, and because letting him live is not enough. And I do like the maybe I need the 50,000 more than you do.
Yeah, okay, so great writing, but as soon as he sat down, I had a feeling, man, he's gonna bluff him up. Like he's gonna bluff him up.
No, I didn't have any inkling of where Mike was gonna take this.
Really? Yeah,
no, I figured he was gonna stand him down. He's not gonna die.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I figured he's going to stand him down. I kind of thought maybe Mike would just say no deal, and I don't know. Yeah, I didn't know what he was going to do.
Yeah. So he bluffed him up, gets 50K. Hector does the classic, like, oh well, now I suddenly respect the guy who spit in the face of my offer.
Big balls.
So I'm going to give him, big balls. So now I'm going to give him what he wants. So now it's intriguing because, hopefully we'll find out in the future if they come to the understanding that Nacho was a part of all that. Yeah,
well, it gets addressed in the next scene.
Yep, but maybe somewhere down the road, that'll come into play. They were renewed for season 3, so who knows?
Could get interesting. Nacho's not in Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
his name is.
Right, yeah.
So...
Yep.
Yeah.
Mike's at home, just sitting in the dark, not watching infomercials this time. Nacho delivers the pay, and Mike refunds $25,000 to Nacho.
This is a man of some goddamn integrity.
Well, not only that, it's just good customer service, Dave.
Right.
It's just good customer service.
And a pretty decent cover your ass move.
Yep.
He's got to keep Nacho on good terms. He's got to keep Nacho on his side in case this whole thing blows up.
Plus that whole honor among thieves thing, you know what I mean? They're both, it shows that he's, kind of trustworthy, honorable. You know what I mean? It shows that he's a man of his word. Integrity shows his integrity.
I like that honor amongst thieves because, in a business so lacking of integrity amongst each other, they have to maintain respect or it's anarchy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then that's when people die or get cut off. Or die and get cut off.
Actually, I put a star and I said that's an integrity move, and it's very good networking.
Yes, quite.
But he tells him, he said, "You're going to need this because your problem's coming back. Because I didn't hold up my end of the deal. Technically, your problem's coming back sooner than you expect."
Yep. Setting the stage, man.
Yep.
Gaslighting. That's called gaslighting.
I thought it was called foreshadowing.
I like gaslighting better.
Okay.
It's rainmaking. He's rainmaking.
Rain dance.
Yeah. So we see Kimmy and Jimmy again for the last time this episode. They have a check to Ice Station Zebra. Ice Station Zebra Associates for $10,000, man.
Which is a Breaking Bad reference in itself, which I thought was because I think you brought that up.
Yeah.
You mentioned before that it was like his fake company that he was taking payments through in Breaking Bad. So pretty clever little
nod
to that, segue into that or whatever.
Yeah. Did you hear what he said though? He said he told Kim that if she wants to cash it, he knows a guy who can help.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. He knows who can help.
Yeah. Who can help?
Knows a guy who can help. Yep.
Yeah. And she says, no, it'd be it's better as a souvenir, which I take as that she can't quite go all the way with it.
Yeah.
She can't quite take the guy's 10 G's. She's just going to keep the check.
Yep. It'd be awesome if somebody broke in the house and somehow cashed a check.
maybe Jimmy will later, and that's how they break up.
Maybe. Then she tells Jimmy that she got a job offer from Coakley or Swigert and Coakley. They offered to pay off her student loan, and Jimmy kind of lies and say, well, you should take it because it'll give you everything you wanted. She goes into her spiel about but Jimmy doesn't get what he wants really because he was all happy floating around in the pool being a charlatan, and she kind of held him back from that, and he just kind of lied. He said, "Oh, I got a car and a 9 to 5. I'm happy. Right. I got what I wanted."
Tables have turned.
Right. But that's not what he wanted at all. He was just saying that to appease her.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, now they're both not doing what they want, but telling the other that this is what they want because this is like the responsible thing to do or the expected thing to do. But they're both at odds with their situation together.
Right.
Which is actually strengthening their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a while before they break up. She must die.
They leave the apartment, and Jimmy hops into his car, and he finally, using a wheel jack, he finally destroys the cup holder and makes his world's second greatest lawyer cup fit.
I'm calling this a Blues Brothers reference. Fix a cigarette lighter.
Yeah. Like, on the side note, that's one of my all-time favorite movie moments is just he lights a cigarette, tosses it out the window. He's like, fix the cigarette lighter. Yeah. But notice, even though he was pretty self-satisfactory about busting that the cup holder out and getting his mug to fit, he still had the slight annoyance of the seatbelt that kept locking up as he was trying to put it on.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah,
I thought that was just like when you're frustrated. And I didn't.
Right, and the seatbelt locks and jams, and it's like frustrating. And that happened earlier in the episode. And then here, even though he busted out the cup holder and got his cup to fit, he kind of like smugly smiles at himself, but then he pulls the belt and it jerks like once, and he's just like, okay, like
just never stops. The little annoyances, the paradise that is seemingly in reach but unattainable is also in his car. I said that not the way I wanted to.
Yeah, but we're going to keep that because that makes no sense whatsoever.
It's all Bally High. The whole fucking episode's Bally High.
Bally High,
it's a great parallel. It's totally what the song's about. It's what the episode's about. Yeah, everybody wants shit they can't have. It's always just out of reach. Motherfuckers. Yeah. Unless you're Howard Hamlin, he's got it all.
Yeah, it's all like good writing and stuff. So, Dave, what do you think of episode 206 overall?
It's not the direction I thought things were going to go.
No?
No, I did not see this whole, like, the Jimmy floating in the pool and Kim still thinking about that and that being, like, a huge moment for Kim and her insight into Jimmy. I didn't see that coming, but totally, like, she's realizing what she gets out of Jimmy.
Yeah.
And the whole, like, the qualities you see in another person that kind of piss you off. I think we mentioned that with Chuck last episode.
Yeah.
She wants to be the free and easy way that Jimmy is after just slaving for 10 years and being where she's at now.
Wants to shed the ties that bind her.
It's like everybody wants to be Jimmy, but they don't realize that Jimmy's just on a path to managing a Cinnabon in Omaha.
And it's deep, man. It's deep. All right, guys, what did you guys think about episode 206 of Better Call Saul? Me, personally, I thought it was kind of like a really intense episode, and it seems like the appropriate time to, like, it's not really a lull because I wasn't, like, put off by it, but it was definitely, like, it set a lot of groundwork, I think, for big things coming up in the final 4 episodes.
It seems like this whole we've said that 2 or 3 times this season too.
Yeah, but then they keep like raising the bar of awesome points to where it can jump off. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like I can't wait to see all the.
They could either cement the fact that this is like one of the greatest shows on TV, or totally fucking blow it this season.
Right?
They are absolutely setting it up to where they could totally blow it. So I'm really hoping that they don't because for one, it's really hard to be critical, and we love the show, and everybody's so awesome.
You're right.
The background, the production staff and everything. But yeah, it's building big. I feel like it's building really big.
Yeah, I can't wait to see where it ends up. Check out Dave and I's other podcast, the Nothing Important Podcast, at www.nothingimportantpodcast.com. We are also syndicated by the Podcast Detroit Network, which is all of podcasts from Detroit, like the greatest podcast from Detroit, minus Nothing Important and It's All Good Man, who I've been to Detroit like twice in my life.
I've never been to Detroit. I hear about it.
Yep, but it's nice. It's nice that they put us on their network. So check out all the other great shows on Podcast Detroit, like IT in the D. It's a hilarious like IT tech show.
Nice.
And IT in the D, I just love their name for several different reasons. But great bunch of people. Check out Nothing Important Podcast. And believe it or not, Dave is on Twitter now.
I bit the bullet. I'm in. I got to participate. There's a lot of fun interaction going on. I started my own ISGM Dave host.
Absolutely. And we love the interaction this season. It's been absolutely crazy. Keep hitting us up on Facebook. Keep hitting us up on Twitter. Keep going to the website. Please review us on iTunes. I'm totally going to beg. And if you want to be a super solid dude or dudette, please make sure to review the Nothing Important Podcast as well. Admittedly, on that show, a lot of times we carry over interviews from It's All Good Man, but we have a bunch of non-Better Call Saul people coming up on that show as well. It's kind of Dave and I's like a drive time celebrity chat thing. I guess
it's random.
It's basically Dave and I having fun.
Yeah, no two episodes are the same. They're structured all differently. It's just a little window into our personalities.
Yep, absolutely. So please keep being awesome. We love you guys. Dave?
Find me on Twitter at PodHostDave. Call us idiots, call us geniuses, whatever. Just tweet me.